Suspense. Expect the Unexpected by Renuka Nayak. Joseph had moved into a new apartment. He loved the new place. He was a writer by profession and loved the peace and the beautiful view that the apartment offered. It was just right for his job. Mostly he would sit in his balcony and write peacefully. There was another house close to his. On one of the floors lived a young couple. Joseph could see them without them noticing him. The couple would often stand in their balcony, oblivious to their surroundings. They would be lost in their own world, talking, laughing, and holding hands. Joseph found them really cute. They seemed to be very much in love. They looked like a newly married couple. One day, Joseph, who had been busy with his writing, casually glanced in the direction of the house where the couple lived. He saw the girl standing alone, busy looking at something. It looked like a picture of someone close to her heart. There was a sweet smile playing on her lips. What Joseph witnessed next gave him sleepless nights for several months. The picture suddenly slipped from the girl's hands. She dangerously leaned forward, trying to get hold of the picture. She lost her balance and fell forward into the open space. Her scream filled the air. Joseph saw her falling all the way down. Her body hit the ground with a loud thud. She looked like a broken doll. The head was twisted at a weird angle. Joseph could not believe his eyes. He wanted to scream but could not find his voice. A small crowd gathered around the body of the dead girl. Within no time, the police arrived. Joseph stayed glued to his chair. He felt that he could neither breathe nor move. After some time, Joseph saw the body being taken away. He felt feverish. He rushed inside and splashed cold water on his face. That night, Joseph could not sleep. The entire incident played in his dreams over and over again. He could not forget the fear on the girl's face as she fell to her death. Her scream echoed in his ears. This continued for several months. He would wake up screaming in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat. But finally, with time, Joseph managed to put the incident behind him. He got busy with his work. One night, as Joseph was strolling outside, enjoying the fresh air, he happened to gaze at the house where the couple once lived. He found the windows open. After the girl's death, the house had been unoccupied. Someone new must have moved in, he thought. He saw a figure entering the balcony. It was dark and he was unable to see the face, but it looked like a girl. The figure switched on the lights. It was definitely a girl. She turned around, giving him a clear view of her face. Joseph felt a blow. He couldn't believe his eyes. He felt the cold fingers of fear move down his spine. It was the same girl who had fallen to death a few months back. Joseph pinched himself hard to check whether he was dreaming. It wasn't a dream. It was the same girl standing there. Joseph had never believed in ghosts, but now he had no words to explain her eerie presence. The girl had a sad look on her face. As if sensing Joseph's gaze, she looked back at him. Their eyes met. Joseph rushed inside and closed the door shut. His heart was racing at a fast pace. He felt the room spin. Was he going out of his mind, or had he really seen the dead girl? Joseph got a hold on himself and slowly went back to the balcony and looked across. It was dark now. There was nobody there. The windows were shut. He wondered whether his mind had been playing a mean trick on him. He must have imagined it all. How else could a dead girl come back to haunt him? He decided to put it out of his mind. The next morning, he once again looked across, but there was no sign of anybody. Joseph felt better. Now he was sure he had imagined it all the previous nights. That night, Joseph finished his work and, like always, went to the balcony to get some fresh air. Once again, his gaze fell across. He did not expect to see the girl, but there she was, with her long golden tresses flowing around her. His eyes were now fixed at the girl. She decided not to allow fear to take over him. He had to investigate the matter, or else he was sure to lose his mind. The entire thing was driving him mad. He had to clear the matter once and for all. He made up his mind. Joseph wore his jacket and ran across to the apartment where the couple used to live. He ran all the way up. Once he reached the floor where the couple lived, he turned numb with fear. What if it was the spirit of the dead girl haunting the house? He had heard about it from people, but had always laughed at them for being superstitious and believing such crap. But he was no longer sure about it. He raised his hand to ring the doorbell. Suddenly, the lights went out. The floor plunged into darkness. Joseph felt his heart stop. He had seen all of this happening in horror movies. Now it seemed to be happening for real. No, stop! He ordered his mind to stop traveling in that direction. He had never believed in ghosts, he reminded himself. He would have to wait for electricity to return. Time stretched. He waited in the darkness, his ears open for any kind of sound. After some time, the lights turned on again. Without further thought, he rang the doorbell. He still had time to run away, but decided not to. After a second or so, he heard the door being opened. He braced himself for the worst. A man opened the door. It was the same man who had been living with the girl, whom he had assumed to be the husband. "Yes?" asked the man. Joseph stared at the man for more than a second. "Yes, what is it?" repeated the man, a little suspiciously now. Joseph finally found his voice. "Hi, I'm Joseph. I live in the apartment opposite to yours. Sorry to disturb you at this hour, but I had something important to talk to you about." The man looked puzzled. "What is it, and can it not wait till morning?" "No, it cannot. Please, I need to sort this out right away. I cannot lose my sleep over it," said Joseph urgently. The man frowned and then nodded. "Okay, come in." As he entered the house, the smell hit him first. The house smelled musky, as if it had been unoccupied since long. Except for the chair, the house was empty. "What do you want?" asked the man. His eyes were hostile. Joseph felt like an idiot. After all, what business did he have snooping into others' houses and lives? But he had to know. This thing was driving him crazy. He had very little choice. Just then, the girl walked in. Joseph forgot to breathe. There was something unreal about the girl. She was a beauty. Her long golden tresses cupped her face lovingly. Her hair looked like silk. A strong desire of running his fingers through her hair hit him hard. Her skin was porcelain. Joseph almost raised his hands to feel the velvet on her face. He found himself drowning in her sea green eyes. He felt hypnotized. "Hello," she purred. Her voice sounded like sweet honey. He could almost taste it. Their eyes met, hers inviting, and his own were filled with a deep longing. He walked towards her as if in a trance. Their faces were only a few inches apart now. He could feel her warm, sweet breath on his face. She opened her arms, smiling sweetly. "I knew you would come." He walked into her open arms. Suddenly, a pungent smell hit his nose. It was the unbearable smell of death. He felt her tighten a grip on him. Her long, smooth fingers now felt like steel around his wrist. He felt cold. The temperature had dangerously dipped. He pulled out of her embrace and looked into her eyes, which were nothing but deep, dark holes now. The porcelain was replaced by dead, rotting skin. He heard a growl by his side. There was more dead, rotting skin walking towards him. It was the man. A loud, blood-curdling scream shot through the air. It echoed for a while. A few days later, police found the dead, rotting body of a blonde man in the house. The neighbors had complained about the stench. The blonde man was later identified as Joseph. His eyes had been wide open. They spoke of a horror so great even after death. The cause of the death had been a heart attack. Investigations showed that the house had been unoccupied since a long time. A few years back, a man had been found dead in the same house under similar circumstances. It was soon believed that the house was cursed. A few months later, cool breeze blew on George's face. It was pure bliss after a hard day's work. The house spelled peace. He had moved in only a few days back. He stood out in the balcony and inhaled the crisp air. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a couple in the opposite house. The lady looked stunning. Her skin was porcelain. Her golden tresses kissed her shoulders. The man with her could be her husband or a lover. His eyes were lovingly fixed on her face. The cool breeze blew his blonde hair. They were surely